What if the most powerful thing you could say to her is nothing at all? There's this idea floating around, a piece of advice you've probably heard, that in a world that never stops talking, your silence is the ultimate power move. It's sold as the secret to shaking her confidence, the key to making her crave the validation you've decided to withhold. The story goes, go quiet, and she'll come running back. But is this a real path to self-respect, or is it just a dangerous game of manipulation? Look, the idea that your calculated silence is her biggest fear is tempting, especially when you feel ignored or taken for granted. It promises to flip the script and put you back in the driver's seat. But what does the science actually say? What really goes on in her head? And what happens to the relationship when you decide to use silence as a weapon? Stay with me, because we're about to pull back the curtain on this popular power move. We're going to break down the seductive myths and the harsh realities of strategic silence. This isn't about learning tricks to make someone fear you. It's about understanding the huge difference between a destructive tactic and genuine strength. Because what you don't know about silence could be destroying the very connection you hope you're building. The internet is packed with gurus promising that silence will fix your relationship issues. They sell it as a stoic, high-value move. But this advice usually skips over the most important part, the line between taking a healthy pause and engaging in harmful emotional abuse. Let's break down the 4 biggest myths and find the truth they're trying to hide. The theory sounds simple. If you talk less, your words mean more. By making your communication scarce, you turn your attention into a prize she has to win. It's a tempting idea taken straight from economics. Limited supply drives up demand. Your silence is supposed to create an air of mystery, forcing her to work for your approval. But here's the reality check. Relationships aren't the stock market. This isn't creating healthy demand. It's manufacturing a power imbalance. When you deliberately withhold communication, you're not being mysterious, you're being dismissive. The person on the other end doesn't suddenly see you as a high-value prize. More often, they feel unheard, devalued, and pushed into a subordinate role. This breeds frustration and resentment, making it harder for them to believe you can ever resolve conflicts together. Instead of inspiring her to earn you back, this tactic just erodes trust and poisons the connection. Here's another popular claim. Your silence acts like a mirror, forcing her to finally confront her own behavior. The idea is that without your texts and calls, she'll be left alone with her thoughts, and will have no choice but to realize what she did wrong and what she stands to lose. In this fantasy, she has an epiphany and recognizes your true worth. But that's not what happens in the real world. Intentionally ignoring someone, a behavior psychologists call stonewalling, almost never leads to healthy self-reflection. Instead of a moment of clarity, it's far more likely to trigger confusion, anxiety, and crippling self-doubt. The person getting the silent treatment often blames themselves, thinking they're unworthy of love or even a simple response. Their mind doesn't go to, I should have treated him better. It goes straight to, what's wrong with me? Why am I not worth responding to? This isn't a mirror. It's a well-known form of emotional manipulation that chips away at self-esteem and creates an atmosphere of fear. The story they sell is that a truly confident man doesn't chase. He commands respect through disciplined silence. By refusing to react, you're supposedly showing off unshakable self-respect, which is framed as irresistibly attractive. You're not begging for attention. You're showing that your own peace is more important than her validation. However, this completely misreads what self-respect actually looks like in a healthy relationship. Sure, taking a moment to cool down is mature, but giving someone the silent treatment for days is not. Relationship studies show this behavior is strongly tied to dissatisfaction and defensiveness on both sides. It doesn't communicate high value. It communicates that you're either unable or unwilling to handle difficult conversations. Over time, it doesn't build attraction, it destroys trust and intimacy. Real self-respect isn't about silently punishing someone. It's about having the confidence to communicate your needs and boundaries clearly and respectfully. This is maybe the most dangerous myth. To get around the ugly truth, people who push this tactic play a word game. They argue that strategic silence is for self-preservation, while the silent treatment is for punishment. They'll tell you you're not ignoring her to be cruel, you're just protecting your peace. But psychologically, this distinction doesn't matter, because the impact is identical, whether you call it going dark or reclaiming your power. The person on the receiving end experiences the same damaging effects: rejection, isolation, anxiety, and a complete loss of trust. In fact, research shows that being ostracized or ignored lights up the same parts of the brain that register physical pain. So while you might be telling yourself you're just protecting your own energy, you're actually using a tactic that is widely recognized as a form of emotional abuse. If you're getting some value from this honest look at what it really takes to build a strong relationship, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about developing real, unshakable confidence, not just learning a new set of manipulation tactics. We're here to build authentic strength, not to play games. So, if strategic silence is a minefield, what's the alternative? How do you get back your self-respect without using tactics that cause damage? The answer is in understanding the huge difference between putting up a wall and setting a boundary. The silent treatment is a wall. It's designed to punish and control. A healthy pause is a boundary. It's designed to protect and self-regulate. The real power move isn't weaponizing your silence. It's mastering the art of the communicated pause, from harmful silence to healthy space. Instead of just disappearing, leaving her to spiral into a panic, a man with real emotional strength actually communicates his need for space. This is the game changer. It's not about ignoring her. It's about informing her. Picture this. You're in a heated argument. You feel your blood pressure rising, and you're about to say something you know you'll regret. The manipulative move is to shut down, turn your back, and ignore her calls for the next 3 days. That's stonewalling. It creates anxiety and only makes the conflict worse. The powerful, healthy move is to pause, look at her, and say, "Hey, I'm getting overwhelmed, and I need to clear my head. I do want to solve this with you, but I can't think straight right now. Can we take 30 minutes and come back to this when we're both calmer?" See the difference? The first is an act of punishment. The second is an act of self-regulation and respect for the relationship. It doesn't create fear. It builds security. It shows you're in control of your emotions, not that you're trying to control her with your silence. Using pauses to regulate, not retaliate. True emotional control isn't about bottling everything up. It's about choosing not to be a slave to your impulses. When you feel disrespected, the gut reaction is to either lash out or shut down. The healthier path is to use short, reflective silences within the conversation. Taking a breath before you respond allows you to shift from being reactive to being responsive. It gives you a second to ask yourself, what's the most constructive thing I can say right now? That tiny pocket of silence stops you from making impulsive comments that can cause permanent damage. It's a tool for managing yourself, not for retaliating against her. This approach keeps the lines of communication open, even when it's tough. It shows your partner that even when you're upset, you're still on the same team. That's what builds lasting trust and intimacy, not the fear-based attraction that strategic silence promises. We started this with a provocative idea: why your silence is her biggest fear. And in a way, it's true. The silent treatment absolutely inspires fear. It triggers deep-seated anxieties about rejection and worthlessness. But we have to ask a bigger question. Is a relationship built on someone else's fear really a relationship worth having? True strength isn't found in your ability to make someone scared of your absence. It's found in your ability to be fully present, with self-control and respect, even when things get hard. It's having the courage to say, "I need a minute," instead of using silence as a weapon. The siren song of strategic silence is that it promises a shortcut to power. But it's a hollow power, and it comes at the cost of trust, intimacy, and the well-being of the person you claim to care about. The real power is in building a connection so secure that you never feel the need to play those games in the first place. It's about being a man who is calm, not cold, a man who sets boundaries, not walls, a man whose presence is so valuable that his absence is simply felt, not feared. Stop trying to make your silence her biggest fear. Instead, make your clear, respectful communication your greatest strength. That's the foundation of a relationship that actually lasts.